Are you ready to
I'm
go?
gonna start laughing because I hate my intro.
She ain't getting shy.
Every week it takes me like 10 minutes to get and do just do it because
Don't worry, it's gonna make you nervous.
I'm over it. I know. Every time I
Don't
see
make you
you.
nervous.
Oh yeah. This is the problem with East Boys, bro. Hey guys, welcome back. It's your girl Meriam. What's up? How's life? How's things been? Right, this week here, I'm here with a good friend.
Come on.
Miss 1 out of 3 from the Domino Effect.
Don't
If you
know.
don't know who they are, link in the bio. Check them out. We've got Eddie in the building. Woo!
Come on.
Eastside in the building. You know what
Listen,
I'm saying?
thank you for having me, though. Appreciate
You're welcome. How you been?
Been alright, Been alright.
Yeah,
Me just here living.
How's
we
life?
outside.
We outside.
But I'm trying, man. Obviously, a couple festivals, trying to get myself back into that flow, back to work, all that kind of
Proper
stuff.
festival
Yeah,
lads.
I guess you feel all oomps. You know that
Cutting
way
shapes,
they-
yeah.
You know how it gets.
Come on. Oh, how's single life?
Single life?
Yeah.
What's that?
You don't know what single life is?
Huh?
Huh?
Nah, I'm joking. I'm living life, man. You
Yeah.
get me?
He's outside.
But I'm only a bachelor on weekends, though.
Okay.
Get me?
Ladies, get him at the weekends, innit?
I live in the weekends, bachelor upon weekends, get me?
Sounded like scissor,
Taking
bro.
in the weeks.
Taking.
Are we all deep in what
Do you know?
he's a bachelor on the weekend,
Strictly.
which means during the week
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
That's what it
He's
is.
booed up.
Crazy.
He's booed
Get
up.
me? So like Monday to Friday.
Monday
get
to
me?
Sunday.
lucky woman.
Huh?
Yeah.
She must be one lucky woman.
Just she.
Oh,
Just-
there's multiple cuffings during the week.
Listen, I'm
Come on.
taking applications right
He's
now.
a-
you get it?
Oh, guys.
He's
The
a man
summer's
of
coming to an end,
polygamy.
Huh?
He's a man of polygamy. I'm screaming.
Now listen, I'm playing. I'm a loyal brother. Do you get me? I ain't got no girl. I'm single. I'm living life. You get me? So any girl, listen, give me a shot. Anyone's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send them a little DM.
Yeah.
Do you... Ah!
Listen, I'm about to get myself in trouble, boy. She.
Oh my god, it's so funny. Do you know what? Yeah, I think we get on proper because of how you are mentally. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Obviously, we used to date and that, so.
We didn't used to date.
Oh, what, you gonna lie on the
He
camera?
wishes.
You gonna lie?
He
You gonna lie? So what, we
wishes.
didn't go on a date?
We went on one date.
Was it a date? So
Look
now
at
it's
you.
been a date. Got you. Hey, listen, it was a good day out, innit?
It was a nice time, man.
was
We
nice, it was
enjoyed.
nice, it was
Yeah, I
nice.
proper enjoy your company. You need to see me more.
Listen, I'm here. Get
Yeah.
me. I got your number. Don't shout you. Don't worry about that.
now you have my
I see
number,
the
yeah?
glisten. I see
Oh,
been on
okay.
holiday. You're looking golden. I mean, looking Hennessy.
Tell
Trying to get a
them.
brother drunk. I see it. I'm looking good though. I like it, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
Love the work we're doing
it.
as well, still.
Come on. Boy, it's hard. It's hard out here.
not easy, man.
This
It's not
pudding
easy.
game is hard out here. How's yours going? Talk to
Everything's
them.
going alright. Everything's going alright. Like we're making progress. We're getting
Nice.
more and more good conversations in. I feel like even having you come on as well, you can start to see the elevation in terms of conversation and progress of who you're bringing on.
Yeah.
And even so, there was that statistic that they released recently saying like, if you get to like around 25 episodes, you're in like the top 10% of podcasters because most people
Okay.
don't make it past that stage.
Nice. Okay.
So we're on the right trajectory. Plus, you've got to recognize that it's still a relatively new game, innit? We've had people like Joe Rogan show us that there's money that can be made.
Yeah.
The UK scene's blowing up now. People
Yeah.
are doing more and more live shows.
Come on. Shout
So
out to the UK scene.
Literally, we're doing bits. So now it's a case
Yeah.
of us new wave coming through,
I'm pushing.
pushing it and creating those new avenues, those new revenue streams.
Do you know how many episodes you lot have done?
I think we're on like 36 or 37.
Yeah, I think I've done more than 25 or 20. I think I'm around like 21.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we're almost there.
we're almost there. We're getting there.
Yeah, that's it. So you're on your
Same
way to becoming
pushing.
in that top percentage. You get me?
Come on.
We ain't looking to start.
That's it.
Period.
That's what I like to hear, man.
We're here to
Get
win,
me?
man. Boy, you would consider yourself alpha male, correct? Let's talk about it. Yeah, you'll screw up your mouth. You want to be alpha male. If you like haven't watched this podcast or the boys podcast, you wouldn't know, innit?
Oh, wait. Do you consider me an alpha male?
Yeah, I'll consider you an alpha male.
How are you defining an alpha male?
Hey, okay, look how he switched the tables. But it's alright. How did I define alpha male? He's gonna take all these compliments, watch. Someone that's a leader.
Okay.
Someone that is able to make logical decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that is very emotionally aware of others.
Okay.
Somebody that is fearless when needs to be.
Jeez, you see, when shit gets on top, man's
Okay.
there.
Is it?
Yeah. Active, you get me?
But yeah, that's what I would consider as an alpha male, innit? But let's talk about you,
Okay,
because you're the guest.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like? How do you feel about men nowadays, anyways? Because me, I look around, yeah. Like, I can never tell a man to be a man or how to be a man or X, Y, and Z.
You can, and that's what girls do.
Yeah, but really and truly, when it comes down to it, like, me as a woman, I can't come and tell you this is what it is to be a man.
Yeah,
do you
big
see what I'm
facts.
saying?
Yeah.
So I look around and I'm like, hella betas. Hella betas. And I don't know what that's like. Do you think that's just because of the world we live in now? Like, talk to me. As a man, how do you feel when it comes to that?
So, you're definitely right in your observation.
Come on.
There is a lot of betas. There's always been a lot of betas, but I feel like as society has progressed and we've to some degree modernized, more and more betas are coming to the forefront. And I feel like not a lot of people understand why that is. Yeah? So, what I believe, and this is even based on like more empirical studies, we can get into those details
Not
later.
empirical studies.
It has to be because like, and that's the thing about the podcasting game. Bare people come with opinions. In order to provide value, you need to have
knowledge.
you need the knowledge. But society's becoming more gynocentric, and what I mean by that is that it's becoming more female-led. It's still a very patriarchal society, but a lot more. There's a lot more feminine impetus in what people do and decisions that they make.
Yeah, it's not like back in the day where if you were a woman, you had to really become a man or a male, adopt male characteristics to be a leader. I think nowadays women can be very feminine and still lead, and I think that is basically what you're saying, right?
Women can still be feminine and lead, but they still need to adopt a lot of masculine traits in order to take those higher leadership roles. They need to.
Yeah.
It's the way to kind of win in a male-led society. However, where feminism have done quite well since the suffragettes movements and the kind of the movements of the early 19th century is that women have a lot of say now in how men should behave. So because of that, because of now women have a lot more say in how men should behave, men interpret that as logical thinkers.
Right.
If I do X, it should equal Z, and I get what I want at the end, which is more time.
Why do you think that is though?
Why, as in what?
Like, why do you think women have more say nowadays in how a man should be?
Because society has been traditionally patriarchal for a long time. Women have been stripped of their rights, and now that women are gaining more power, it seems that women are becoming a lot more like men in the sense that they want to assume and amass control and dictate situations now. So in order for a man to get a woman and not be called misogynist or all these other terms that women like to throw around, he has to conform to the female standard.
Right.
But what women fail to understand is that by a man conforming to the female standard, they no longer become attractive to that woman. Because what the woman looks for is the alpha traits that you described. These are traits that are desirable for a woman to want to mate with a male. When a man does what a woman says, you're just any guy now. Do you get what I'm saying? I want a man that's vulnerable, a man that cries and blah, blah, blah. When this guy becomes a pussy owner,
I don't want that.
I don't want that. Do you get what I'm saying? But then I think that's the change that's slowly been happening that people fail to recognize.
Do you think it's a thing of like, imagine being a woman and being told how to be your whole life, and then you're kind of almost, let's say back in the day, you'd be matched with somebody or you'd be paired with somebody, or like it wouldn't necessarily be in your control fully who you end up with or who you end up marrying or X, Y, and Z, whether it's in this Western world or back home or whatever. Like life used to be like that,
It did.
Now we have the freedom to literally be with anybody and whoever we want to be. So it's a double-edged sword, because I hear you and I get it, but I also feel like it's about time women just ask for what they want, and whether they get it or not is life. But I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. I think a man who is really a man, wouldn't change just because a woman's going to be like, I want this and that and the other and da-da-da-da. Clearly, you're not the man for her. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think that's where society has shifted in terms of like men anyways. I feel like we naturally within us, we want to impress each other. That's the whole game. From when we are born to when we die, we want to impress the opposite sex, whether we like it or not. And I think because we have that innately within us, it's shifted the way masculinity is now. Do you see what I'm saying?
I agree, but also disagree.
Here we go. Go on.
Because you have to break it down. It's not as simple as just taking those linear steps towards the current progression that we have here. So I mentioned before that a man does what a woman wants and then no longer becomes attractive to that woman. Yeah. That's the power women have now adopted in this society. But in this instance, women, you're your own worst enemy. Because whilst you're demanding these things from men, you're saying that, oh, you might not be the man for me if you listen to what I say. Well, if I'm called or labelled such things for not doing as you say or behaving like a man, and then not being attractive to you as a consequence of that, it's your own fault.
Labels like what?
So like being called a misogynist or like...
Yeah.
Mainly, that's probably the main one. Feminist, not feminist, you're sexist, etc., etc. All these derogatory terms that, in the terms of your social standing, can cause your demise as a man.
Do you feel like men can't win anymore?
That's pussy all talk. Men can definitely win. It's that,
right.
And there's a point I want to add on as well, is that men no longer know how to be men.
Yes,
and I think, again, this is a consequence of, I won't say it's a consequence of, but you can see there's a correlation. Correlation isn't always causation, but with more liberation for women means less accountability for mistakes, because there's the welfare state, there's the feminist imperative where, you know, women aren't held accountable for their mistakes, which creates, let's say, single homes, for example.
Right.
So you have a woman who said, you know what, I want to be promiscuous and do what I like, because I'm free to do as I can, and that's completely fine. The consequence of that is a baby, because biologically, women ain't built just to sleep around.
Right.
You're built to seek out safety with one partner and do your thing that way. Whilst we're here spreading our seed. That's what we do. Societies cater towards the female mating strategy. It's changed that way now.
Yeah.
So a woman being hyper promiscuous and having a baby as a consequence of behaving that way creates single parent homes. Single parent homes without fathers mean that men are raised not to be men. Yeah. Because women can't teach men how to be men.
Which is my point earlier.
Exactly. So now we have way more men who lack that masculine presence. So how does that man know how to be a man? Okay, well, in order to have sex with a woman, what do I need to do? Well, let me listen to what the woman says, because my mum tells me I've got to be this, that, and the other. And if I do those things, I'm going to be attractive to women. Right. The man doesn't do that. And then he gets lost. He's like, so what do I do? And that's where we're now spiraling down to this God knows where, because men don't know how to be men. Women still demand traditional traits from men, yet women don't want to be traditional women. However, if a man tells a woman, these are the things that you need to do to be attractive to a man, or this is what a woman needs to do for X, Y, and Z. Right. Oh, you're misogynist, you're controlling, you're patriarchal, So you can see where, like, with this newfound liberation, there's a lot more problems because there's a lack of understanding as to where we both fit as male and female. That I think we both understand, but it's harder for like the general public. That
Rana has a question.
Go on.
You said that women want traditional things from men, but they don't want to be traditional women.
100%.
Don't you think that's the same from men as well, though?
Elaborate.
So men... No, it's not even that. Men want both a traditional and a modern day woman. So he wants you to be about your business, make your own bread, however, still come home, wash the dishes, cook, clean, raise the kids.
I think that's the average man you're describing. For a man...
The average man is the average man in the world, though.
Well, so, like, again, as a woman, you want the best for what you can get as a woman, Realistically speaking, if you're going for a man like that, you just got to deal with it.
No, I'm not saying that. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying majority of men in our generation, they still slightly want what
they want the best of both.
100%. Most men, they want traditional women.
They want you to be about your business and they still want their foot rubbed when they come home. And put your
so when you're rubbing my feet,
and things like that.
Yeah.
It's cool, you can rub my feet as well, but it's like you would.
You can't do both.
Yeah.
You can do both, but if you're doing both.
Yeah.
If you're also coming home and we're doing this whole like
50-50 thing.
Yeah.
50-50 thing's air.
It's not air though.
It's air.
How?
I would say that.
Let me sit at home and really raise the kids then. And you do
cool.
Your business.
And that's what I'm saying. This is where if a man was truly being a man, that's the situation that would happen. But again, like.
So what do you say to the men that are thinking how I just described? That they want both. They want to eat. They don't even want their cake and eat it. They want their cake, their mother's cake.
Everyone's cake. Everybody.
See, the difficult thing in that situation, you're completely right in saying that because we live in different times. Yeah. Our financial situations weren't the same as back in the day. You couldn't buy a house for 20 grand and be calm with it. So there does need to be an element of support. However, the majority of that needs to come from the man's side and take away less of that strain from the woman. That should be your job, innit? If you're not doing it now, you should be working towards it.
How can you be expected to do that as a man in this society when I can go in and get the same job as you?
So what do you mean?
So me and you, we can go in, get the same job, get paid the same, but you're still expected to bring more to the table, right? So how are you going to do that?
Because by going out and doing that. So like I should do something that's lucrative enough to look after the family. I'm not going to do something that's going to keep me average. I'm aspiring to be a high value male. High value male's going to have his situation patterned and look after his woman and family the way a man should. These are these are the responsibilities that have been put on us. Me being born a man, that's what I have to do. I've got to find a way to do that. And back in the day, you wouldn't be questioned. It's either you build shelter or you get eaten by a lion.
Right.
Which one is it? In this day and age, you work hard or you live average lifestyle. But then I can't demand of you what I can't bring. That don't make sense. If me and you live in the same lifestyle, then I have to accept that the responsibilities that I would traditionally want you to adopt, you can't adopt those responsibilities.
That's the point I was trying to get to. So you can kind of compromise.
Of course you can compromise.
You have to compromise.
There's no other alternative, because again, if you bring the same level of value to the table, how can I not compromise? Do you get me? It makes no sense.
And do you know what, you said something that I found interesting, is that you want to be you aspire to be a higher value male, yeah? Do you equate that to being an alpha male, or do you think they're two separate things?
I think they coincide. I think naturally a high value male will have alpha traits.
Right.
I don't feel like an alpha male will adopt high value traits. I think you have to be high value, and naturally by being high value and what comes with being high value, the alpha traits seep into those things.
Interesting. I thought it was the opposite.
The other way around, so did
I thought being an alpha male is something that comes naturally to you. Do you see what I'm saying?
I think there's
and then you can adopt being high value through career, through the way you speak, your knowledge, X, Y, and Z.
See, because the high value constitutes a lot of different things. It constitutes like your sexual market value, so your looks, your physical presence, your social standing, your financial situation, your ability to court and get women. Then being alpha is more of a mind state. You can tap into your alpha. So in this situation now, I feel comfortable being like podcasting.
Right.
So I'm in my alpha alpha mind state.
Right.
I might go outside and try and talk to a girl and just shrivel up.
Yeah.
Or I might be a big CEO, businessman now, and I'm rich, I've got money. So that makes me high value, right? But then if it put me in front of a girl and I'm there crumbling, you're not in your alpha at that moment.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So naturally, by being at the top level, you will have alpha traits, with alpha as a mentality. Some people are naturally born with that. Some people are naturally assertive leaders, etc., etc. But you can tap into your alpha at different times. So in some situations, you might be an alpha, and others you might not. And that's how I think it. That's how I define it anyway. It's a mind state over something you just are. So a man can be taught to adopt alpha, because if you recognize that I'm an alpha in this instance, but I'm lacking here, then you can make up for the other places that you're lacking to kind of boost your alpha in that instance.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask a personal question.
Talk to me.
Is or was your dad in your life? Is he currently still in your life? And how do you think that's influenced you growing up as a young man and the man that you are now?
My dad's still in my life.
Love that.
So yeah, he did his thing.
Nice.
But for me, it gives me that. It gave me that grounding. So like, there was a time. I'll tell a story. There was a time in my life where my dad travels back and forth to Nigeria.
Nice.
When I was young, I was probably like 15, 16, and he was gone for like 3-4 months. Yeah. I basically like violated my mum. She couldn't control me. She couldn't control me. So as someone looking back in hindsight, when I think about people who lack that masculine presence in their life, how did I behave when I had a lack of?
Right.
I was uncontrollable.
Yeah.
So how must these other kids who don't have that masculine presence to pattern their situation, how must they act? How must they feel when they come and look back and think, okay, in these situations I didn't have that. I had something to compare it to. A lot of these people don't. I look at certain family members and I see people who I grew up around. So I'm from End, I grew up in an estate.
Right.
I see people who didn't have
nothing. Yeah.
The father there, and I see how they behave.
Yeah.
And they lacked. And I think this is where a lot of where a lot of hyper masculine problems come from, because you'll have men who are raised in environments where they're around guys who don't have that masculine presence.
Right.
So then they try to overcompensate for what they lack and then behave in outlandish ways. And that's what I think is like, if there's anything that's toxically masculine, it's that. A man just behaving in a masculine manner and being able to pattern the situation isn't toxic to me. But the guys who have lacked that, it's easy to see because the way they behave, there's a lack of control when it gets to a certain point. And I feel like me being able to see it from both sides and looking back in hindsight, I can definitely see where the lack of masculine presence in a man's life he hasn't got everything he needs in order to be well equipped to survive in this society. Do you get me? Talk
about your upbringing a little more. I want the people to actually know you for you and not you for Eddie and the one that just be talking on this stupid internet. Yeah, do you get it? Like, let's talk about your upbringing. Let's talk about the struggles. Let's talk about the making of you, essentially.
So, yeah, I was born here. My parents weren't. So I'm first generation in this country.
Well, yeah,
Come on, yeah, I guess. So, like, I saw the struggle, like the point of like parents and didn't even have a yard to stay in. Like my parents didn't want me to be raised by like carers. So my dad would do the night shifts, mum would do the day shifts, and then they'd alternate looking after me to try and get by. Obviously over time things got better, council situations and whatnot. So we found housing, we were able to do our thing. Nice. I remember I was quite a wild kid. I was very energetic. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
still are.
Still are, you get me? But that's why it's so important, like, your parents and how they raise you. But, like, I got kicked out of primary school for like, fighting a teacher. Like, I hate my teacher.
Not primary school.
Primary school. Do you get what I'm saying? So, like,
oh God.
My parents thought, like, the only school, and this is when I lived in Leighton, and they were like, the only school that you can go for, like, a secondary school is, like, Norton for boys, isn't it? All boys school.
Not all boys.
So they were like, listen, if this guy goes to an all boys school, it's game over.
It's finished.
It's game over. So they moved me out that end, moved me to like Chinkford, like the near Wolfersall side, Selwyn Estate, and it was a better situation. It was still ends. It was still mad, but it wasn't.
But it was just about like out.
It's not even just that. Like the school was just much better. So I'm around better. There's an opportunity to have better influences around me.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But I lived on an estate. I was still around bare nonsense, and they knew that. So their thing was this: like, we're going to be so hard on this kid that he has zero opportunity to do the wrong thing.
Shout out to your parents.
Do you get what
I'm
I'm saying?
That.
Obviously, you still go out and you still do whatever. But it's like, again, I think to myself, if I wasn't beaten the way I was, if I wasn't disciplined the way I was, like, what would I have become? I was an unruly kid. I was the week I moved onto my estate, I was in beef. I was smacking her. Literally. So, like, it got to the point where I got into the madness. My mum had to get involved. My mum ended up having to smack these other people's parents. It was, the whole estate knew me from that point.
How can you bring your mum into the beef? Not Mumsy.
Listen.
She has to come and back it.
Listen, Mumsy smacked the mum and the dad up. It was crazy.
I love that.
It was crazy.
To be fair, my mum's got into a couple physical things when we were kids, so I respect
it. Has to be done.
Crazy,
so I feel like the parents have come and whatever, but like, listen, it was a mad thing.
Shout out to Mumsy.
It was a mad thing. My mum's on smokes though. That's
Come
when the
on.
estate knew, like the whole estate was there, like
They
the
were like,
coffee,
what?
like what's going on?
They were like, what? It dropped. It's in the bloodline.
Yeah,
Crazy.
listen, it was mad. But yeah, man. So it's like there's a lot of different trials and tribulations. Like parents had to go through a lot, and I saw a lot of those struggles, innit? And they become a part of who you are. So like from me, and I remember like getting into financial difficulty. I'm like, but gotta start selling.
Yeah.
But me and my like, I had a certain group of friends that were still smart enough to not deviate too far and do the complete wrong thing. So how do we hustle and still do our thing? We're not really like, because his parents were strict as well, so it's like, cool, we're not gonna try shots long. So cool, we used to go to Sainsbury's and Tesco's in the morning.
Not cookies.
You know how it goes. Do you know what I'm saying?
The brownies,
like,
the donuts, the cookies,
we
all
did it
of
all.
them.
So like we used to do like cookie sales, and like, we used to knock on people's doors on the estate and just like shot cookies to them. Like we did everything we could to hustle, just so that things were easy at home, and you could just have what other kids have. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like you're looking around, because my area is one of those areas where there's like poverty, and then you go up the road, and then people are living nice. Do you know what I'm saying? So you're going to a mixed school where some people are broke and some people just got hella peas, and you see that and you're thinking like,
and there's no in between. There's
no in between. It's either or. Do you get what I'm saying?
Either gated areas or the estate,
and that's it. So you got to do what you got to do to keep up and catch up in it. So that was it. Like we hustled to like my parents. For me, my main thing was my parents were like, he has to go to university.
Good.
Do you know what I'm saying? So like obviously went uni.
That's a very F thing though. I feel like
it has to.
It's by force whether you
but
find
the reason
out what you
for
want to do or not.
Is that my mum always used to say that if you have education, no one can lead you astray.
Exactly.
So
that's
regardless
exactly
of what
my
I do,
parents say to me.
even if I'm not patterned enough to look after you to where I was, or let's say I pass or something happens, if you have your education, I know that you will be able to look after yourself, and that's the main thing. So like, I feel like people think, you want to go uni just because that is the thing to do, but in reality, it helps you to understand life from a different perspective. Like uni definitely taught me a lot of things.
Right. Yeah.
I got to study abroad in Canada. Do you get me? So I got to live abroad.
Nice. What did you do? What was your course?
I studied international relations with theoretical media. And then I did a postgrad in international development. So I'm a big environmentalist, like save the planet, all of that.
Whoa.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't have thought that.
Nobody ever does. I'm multifaceted, you get me? I come with many different aspects of my
mystery box,
personality.
innit?
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, put your hand in, you might get something different every time.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Ladies, are you hearing this? Right, let's talk about men's mental health a bit more. Like, because this is also another thing that comes with, I don't necessarily want to call it a struggle, But in some ways it is when you are an alpha male and you have to be on top of everything and you have to be well presented and at your best every single day, no matter what, when do you actually have time to process your mental? Like, talk to me.
You need to make time. Like, and I think people always argue that men haven't got like places to release or like talk or whatever. You do. You just choose not to use them. See what I'm saying? Or maybe not taught to use them. Like, I always say, men shouldn't confide in women when they have problems.
Right.
Confide in other men.
Interesting.
I don't believe women are well equipped to deal with a man's issues. So like, if you're going through something, you should have a tight knit circle of people you can trust and go to for information that can help you. Do you know what I'm
about
saying?
your partner?
Again, like as an alpha male, as a leader, you can't ever waver.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's not like, I'm not saying that you can never do this or never do that, but there's a certain level.
Yeah.
There's certain things that she's not well equipped to deal with because she doesn't know the male struggle. She's a woman.
And also, it's one of those things where, as an alpha male, you wouldn't want to pass on your stress to your woman anyways.
That's the thing, because how perception is powerful.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? If I'm weak and I'm crying around you, or I've had a hard week at work, my babe works hard, you know, you got a lad. You're thinking like, at some stage, this is just gonna chip away.
It's gonna irritate you. Yeah.
Like, you're relax, bro, pattern up, innit? Like, do you get me? Do your thing.
I've got to disagree with you guys.
Have you?
Go on.
Listening to everything, and I'm like,
Talk to me. I'm listening.
I just think, as an alpha male, you should be able to talk to your woman. Like, you should be able to open up.
What does opening up look like?
Anything. You should be able to discuss.
Don't do that,
anything.
man. If you're watching this, do not.
I don't think he's saying it's a matter of being able. I think it's a conscious choice that you would make.
Because I'm coming in it, right? So what I'm saying is, women are willing to understand men. Like, we're willing to listen and understand you guys and emotionally try, because we can emotionally think and we emotionally connect a little bit more.
Yeah.
Whereas men, you have this block up to always think that women don't want to understand you, because you, as a man, don't really want to understand the struggles of a woman. Not you personally.
Ooh, go on.
The struggles of a woman.
Yes.
And you never will, and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is we're willing to listen. We want to listen. We want to hear why are you hurting?
Yeah.
To see if we can even bring to the table and resolve it together. Because a lot of women, they think better than men.
Okay.
In certain situations in life, I just feel like, even when I look at my parents, and I'm like, if you would have, to my father, me thinking, if you would have listened to what that woman said,
you wouldn't be in the situation that you're in.
Different.
Yeah.
Until this day, but it's that man ego that's like, oh, I know better, which I understand, and it kind of comes with the whole alpha thing. But I feel really and truly, as an alpha, you should be able to talk to your woman and open up to the point where she can even bring shit to the table.
So I'll say this.
Why can't we be alpha together? Why don't?
Because women can't be alpha, but I'll say this.
Again, disagree.
Don't worry, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
I'll say this. There's nothing wrong with what you said in the sense of opening up and having certain conversations. However, where the problem starts to arise is that you think you're able to deal with our problems. You're not. That's it. Period. It's not a thing where.
I'm not even saying deal. I'm saying I'll understand it and try and.
There's no point.
I think that comes down to the relationship, though, innit? Like, if my man was like opening up to me and I know I'm not gonna solve your issues, but talking about it could help.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it is. It's
Yeah, but
because I can't solve.
How do you know that? Not you personally solve it, but how do you know? You can say something that will trigger something in his mind.
But that's
and
what I'm saying.
Can get resolved. He didn't see it from that perspective.
But ultimately, it's still.
That perspective.
But this is the thing. Ultimately, but even if I triggered something in his mind, he's gonna make that decision whether he wants. Do you get it?
I'm saying the fact that you opened up to me. I'm not saying oh babe, come, I'm resolving all your issues. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you come to me with your issues, and it's from an outside perspective. If it's something to do with work, if it's something to do with your friends, whatever, it's just that outside perspective, but it's also someone that you trust. Because you should trust your woman.
100%.
So don't
especially your wife.
Exactly. So don't be going and getting the mandem's perspective on a mandem situation, and it might be a little bit biased. Because let's say you got into an argument with one of your guys.
Yeah.
I feel like a woman's perspective might help the situation. She might be, because it's not biased again. So it's that like balance.
But this is contextual now. So in that scenario, of course, it makes sense to consult your woman.
Scenario when it doesn't make
so
sense.
like, let's say I'm having financial difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first instance isn't to go to you and tell you about the financial difficulties. my first instance is how am I going to pattern the situation? Because now if I come and tell you, babes, listen, this is what's going on. What does that do in your head?
Now I'm stressed.
Now you're stressed. Now you don't feel secure. That safety element that's so attractive that women seek from a man is now eroded. For something that I could have gone to my boy and he said, bro, listen, I got this pattern. Let's do this. Yeah. Money's back. You don't even know there's a problem. I can come to you later and say, listen, this is what happened. Yeah. But I've already solved the problem.
Let's say you try to solve it, and then let's say like there's a couple of times, like how long can you keep up the fact that you're having financial difficulties?
See, but now
until it really
that's moving the goalpost. The point is now is that if it gets to a point where I need to consult you to say, look, we're gonna have a problem here. Cool. My first instance isn't to come to you, and it shouldn't be as a man. Yeah.
But you should be able to eventually, if...
Yeah, no, of course. I can't hide it to the point where we're both homeless. That don't make no sense.
Imagine eviction letter after eviction.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you open there and say, babes, what's this? I say, huh?
Yeah.
I say, who?
What's what?
It must be from next door still. But like, no, like...
But even a situation at work, I think it's so important. I know I understand leave work at work and, you know, home at home. But sometimes it's important to release the stress that you have at work outside of work. Because then it
to demand them.
Do you know what it is? I think it's about understanding.
I
think it's about understanding a healthy relationship and your type of healthy relationship with your partner. Yeah. The way so for example, if my man's or my future husband or whatever came to me and told me that there was financial issues and then in a week he solved it, I didn't need to know that. But if he went to the boys or went to somebody else outside of me, solved it, and then came to me like a week or two later, I'd be like, oh yeah, like this happened and I would rather still be aware of it, whether you've solved it or not, then you come and tell me, stress me out, and then it was all for nothing because you solved it in a week. That's
what I'm saying. Communication is so important, and I would never try to downplay the importance of communication in a relationship. Right. But it needs to be effective. It needs to be optimal. There's no point putting you under stress, like you're looking after my kids, you're patterning your situation, whatever, and I'll come to you with that bombshell. Like, what's my job if I'm not I'm not being a man in that instance? If I can't pattern a situation, if I can't problem solve, I'm not a leader. That's what leaders do. Do you get what I'm saying? If a country's crumbling, the government doesn't come to you, so the country's crumbling. What's people going to do? You're going to go into the panic. Everyone's going to go crazy. Yeah. It's the same thing in the dynamic of a relationship.
There's a civilian in the country though. She's your partner. She's like, you're the king. She's the queen.
Yeah. Life is based on structures. So every structure is the same, just works in different ways. Do you get what I'm saying? So in that structure where there's a hierarchy and there's a supporting figure, you got to make sure that the supporting figure feels comfortable to support. Otherwise, you're going to seek you're going to seek to support someone else elsewhere. And if that problem is something that's consistent, if I always came to you with my problems, and you end up meeting a man down the road who was more patterned, that's gonna mess with your head.
It's gonna linger.
Because I'll say this: women are hypergamous, and what that means is that women date for across and up social hierarchies. So women don't date down; they date up. Men date down. So if you're dating up, and I don't tick off the correct boxes that make me attractive to you, you're gonna seek something better elsewhere because you're built to always find the best thing. Right. Do you get what I'm saying? So why would I put myself at detriment for a situation that I'm supposed to control as a man? It makes zero sense.
Okay, so apart from the financial thing, do you feel like you can...
There's bare scenarios. Like, again, it's contextual. So we can go through different ones, but like, it all depends. Like, there's certain things that I can discuss with you. There's certain things that I shouldn't. I should discuss with the man then. And going back to the topic of mental health, that's why it's important to have outlets of places where you have circles of people who you can trust and you can talk to. But that shouldn't be a woman. Because
and I think, do you know what I think it is as well? I think it's about understanding your position. Because I feel like men and women like to overplay their position, to whether it's to compensate, whether it's to better themselves, but eventually when you're in let's talk about a marriage, for example, you need to know your position as a man, as a woman. If a man can't fulfill his position, then you can't be with him because you're going to start seeing all these red flags. And vice versa. If a woman can't play her position according to the relationship, it's going to be an issue.
100%.
So I think it will always come down to the health of your particular relationship.
And like you said, and how you play your role. Because like, if we're getting our positions confused now, there's naturally going to be conflict and a clash. Do you know what I'm saying?
I just feel like it's just... Because in my head, I'm seeing what you're saying. But then realistically speaking, there are positions in this day and age where the woman could be doing better than the man. And I don't think that takes away anything from him being a man.
It doesn't, but then she just won't be the man for him.
The woman for him.
Or the woman for him, but
You're definitely right in saying that. But in most instances, like I said, women are hypergamous. They don't want to date down. It's either you're showing enough pragmatism to show you're going to get to somewhere of a high level, or you're there already. A woman doesn't want to be there to be better than you and lift you up. She'll meet a better man.
Yeah, I hear you.
and she'll look elsewhere. And so you don't want to put yourself in that position. A lot of women will say that a man is insecure for not wanting to date a woman that's above him. It's not about insecurities. It's what does that woman want for the long term. It's not a man that's below her, plain and simple. It's not insecure. It's just about knowing where you fit into the puzzle.
Right.
If I don't fit correctly into this puzzle, why am I going to create problems for myself in the future? Because I'm someone that thinks long term, especially when it comes to relationships. What are we going to be like 5 years from now? Have we got the correct principles in place that's going to make me and you a successful relationship? If the answer is no, that's not me being insecure. It's about me thinking ahead. You might, because men have to live in a fact-based reality. Women are afforded the luxury of living in a fairy tale. You can do that because someone's going to come and cater towards you. As a man, if you're not panned, nobody's looking after you. And no one cares for you. As a woman, all you got to do is have a tuntun and you're good. Someone's going to come and look after you. That's the difference. So like, we having to live in this fact-based reality means that we're not afforded the same luxuries as women are. So it's nice that, you know, we should like talk and you should tell me your troubles and blah, blah, blah. But in reality, what does that do for the situation? It doesn't.
It kind of ties back to the point where I was saying, because of what you said, like that pressure as well, how are you as a man expected to get a whole house in London at £800,000?
You got a jug. You got a jug. You get me? You got a jug. And again,
do
like,
what you got to do.
I'm not saying that, cool, we can't come together, I bring this amount, you bring that amount, and we come together. Like, we can definitely do that.
50-50, but I mean, like, realistically speaking, how are you patterning that?
You just have to find a way. We always have done. Like, we're built to overcome adversity.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about sitting there on my ass as my man is paying up. Like, I just don't understand where.
But we supply in a different manner, though, don't we?
You provide support in a different way. Yeah.
I hear that, but I feel like nowadays we should at least give something, just off of the basis that we
give your loyalty and give your love and give us peace.
That again, and
you do those, we're happy. 100%.
But you know
Women
what?
ain't peaceful
But again,
these days.
that comes back to the man. There are plenty men that are happy for you to cough up. Plenty men. Not everyone's built like that. Do you get it?
Yeah.
And not everyone's willing to be like that.
And if
either.
you find a man like that, there's gonna come a point where you're gonna be like, you need to pattern up, cuz. Like, you might sound nice now. You might be attracted to him now.
But when you have kids,
way more than you and stuff. I'm just saying, like,
I'm willing.
My head's not gonna be spun if my man said, "Look, babes, let's do this." I don't know, 70-30. I'm gonna be like, "Cool, take 30. There's no problem there. Take it." Like,
100, but that's calm. That's pattern. That makes sense in the situation. I always think like this. Yeah. Your money as a woman is your money. My money is our money.
Yeah, and Islamically,
that's exactly what's written.
That's how the game goes. Do you get what I'm saying? So if we're born accepting that as the basic foundation, then we understand how we play our position. Do you get what I'm saying? But moving into modern day society, a lot of men don't know their role anymore because now you got women saying, like, I can boss it and I'm independent. I don't need man, and men are trash and da-da-da-da. And here comes a man where in order to get a woman, I've got to be all these things and comply with all these things, but no one respects me. No one gives me the authority as a man. You're losing your manhood. I'm expected. So it's like, who am I? And I think that's what affects a lot of men's mental health. It's like, where do you sit?
It's identity crisis.
It definitely is because like men used to go to war. We used to fight. Like we used to do shit. Like you don't do that. We used to do shit. We don't do that no more. Like even if you look at the Industrial Revolution, men were in factories working, jugging, like doing their thing.
Coal mines.
But now like women have come into the job market. There's competition for those roles. Naturally, that's how the game goes. Do you know what I'm saying? So in having that competition, you're also faced by a woman telling you that you're less than. And then society tells you to like, if you're masculine, you're misogynistic, you're patriarchal, you're this, you're that. You're getting beat down from left, right, and center as a man, and you just have to deal with it. But that's how life is at the moment. So that's why we need to, when we're talking about this kind of stuff, men need to build circles with other men where they can voice these problems and talk, and men will give them real guidance as to how to be a man. We need avenues for men to actually conversate and talk and say, look, these are my problems. How do I get to the solution? Do you know what I'm saying? But women, for me, women ain't built to do that.
Right. You had a comment earlier about women not being alphas or can't be alphas. I want to know what you mean.
What's an alpha female to you?